you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your
Voss
host,
here from the
Chris Voss.
ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the Airlane Sings That Makes Official. Welcome to the Chris Voss Show, the oldest living broadcast podcast that is still operating and putting out daily, that's the key, daily podcasts. There's a handful of us left that are the oldest podcasts in the world, up to 20 years, and we are one of them. And we're holding on for dear life. Everyone's kind of dying around us. Keep the pirate ship alive. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTok, and all those crazy places on the internet. He's returning the show for his second appearance. We have Gary John Bishop joining us today. His new book is out called You, Your Life, and the Truth You've Been Avoiding. Now what? Welcome to the show, Gary. How are you?
I'm great, Chris. Thanks for having me. That was a tremendous introduction.
It's all downhill from here. New York Times bestselling author and one of the most influential voices in modern personal development. You've got 8 books, including the ones you've appeared on the show for. Unfuck Yourself, or that's what it is. Stop dating that shit. Let's see. Known for the work, Wise as Fuck, Love Unfucked, and you've sold millions of copies worldwide. Known for an uncomprehensive voice and philosophical depth, he challenges conventional self-help thinking and demands real accountability. I love accountability. And he lives in Florida. Gary, welcome to the show. Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Everything's GaryJohnBishop.com. So you'll find me on Instagram, Talk, all of those places. And my website, www.GaryJohnBishop.com. And I know no one says www anymore.
Surprised how many independent authors we have that somehow they set up their thing with the www. So if you don't use it, it doesn't work. So Gary, give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your new book?
I think I've been in this industry a long time, and I've always been the kind of anti-guy since the get-go. Right? I looked at this industry, I just thought there was too many blue blazers and chinos, and I wanted to be. My expression has always been more Sex Pistols, less REO Speedwagon. So I've always kind of taken that approach. And one of the things that I notice in this industry is lots of work getting done. People getting lots of insight, people stacking up information, more knowledge, and yet still stuck. And I wanted to take that on head on in the way that I would.
There's a lot of it that goes into that personal development thing. It's kind of, there's this kind of mentality. I think there's a term for it, but it's like I buy books and they sit sometimes for years and I never read them. And somehow in my mind, the fact that I bought them means that maybe somehow I assimilated that knowledge by walking past them every day. And I'm like, I bought the book, so clearly I'm better off and maybe improve for it. And I've seen lots of people, even I remember prior to the 2008 crisis and collapse, when I helped a friend who had bought 6 homes beyond what you could rent them for in the hype of the 2008 crash. But he'd been to 5 different real estate seminars with real estate gurus, and he'd learned and been taught all the stuff. And he knew him when he knew the stuff to do when I talked to him. Do you think he used any of the techniques that he spent probably $100,000 in personal growth, real estate things you go to for training? He ignored every damn rule. Like, he learned all this shit, but then when he finally applied, he did everything the opposite of what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, how did you fuck this up? And you're right. A lot of people, they're addicted to, I've seen people that they go to Tony Robbins, and I love Tony Robbins. There's no besmirch there. But I would see people that would go to all of his events. They would pay for the VIP. They would pay for the walks. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But they would be still the horrible people they always were. And I'm like, how do you go to all these Tony Robbins events and you're still a piece of shit? I listened to Tony Robbins. I bought the CDs and I changed my life. I didn't have to go to more seminars and stuff. But so I like the fact that you're addressing this head on. And what do more people need to really think about in trying to really use these tools they're learning instead of just kind of, I don't know, feel good meetings?
I think you laid it perfectly there, Chris. It's not more knowledge. You don't need more knowledge. What you need to understand is that it's still you. And that's a problem, right? That's a problem. It's still you. And so all the motivation in the world won't save you, right? All of the kind of bumper stickery philosophy that's out there, it's not going to save you, right? You're going to hit the wall because you're the common denominator in all of this, right? So I want people to understand, but I want people to start to realize that they've got themselves tricked into a life of fixing problems without looking at who's trying to fix them. And that is that's the crux of the matter. It's we want to improve, but what is it that you're trying to improve? Like specifically, what are you talking about? And what you end up with is like trying to bite your own teeth. It's like the you that's reading the books is the you that you're trying to fix.
Yeah.
So you're just caught in this hamster wheel. And as I said, every book I write, Chris, I write the book that I would want to read. Right? I write a book that would interrupt this bullshit. Right? Like I want that book. And every book that I've written has been in that line. What's going to interrupt me? What's going to shake me to my core? What's going to hold it up to my face and make me look at it? But again, not information, not more. You're 8 times more likely to. I don't do that. It's not my stuff. My stuff it's about you. It confronts you. There's hard questions in it. And then there's holding your feet to the fire for the answers, which by the end of that book, I think I managed to do a pretty decent job of just that, holding people's feet to the fire.
Yeah. Holding them accountable or helping them hold themselves self-accountable. Yeah. We really need that in this world because I'm a single guy, so I see a lot of stuff that people are putting out and stuff. And one of the big things I see now, and I've always talked about, like you, I talk pretty openly on social media. I use my Facebook as a journal, actually, because it's kind of great. A couple of years later, it'll show you what you were thinking, what you're doing. And you're like, did I achieve that or not? Or I see beautiful memories of my life and my dogs that aren't here. But to see all these people now that it's almost become like a kitschy thing. That's almost, what's that term they call when it becomes a farce eventually because everyone's doing it and they're just so full of shit. But I see this thing where people I talk about when I'm healing or when I'm going through. Like last night, I put down a note for myself. I'm like, okay, we're going to start doing the gym again. I had a big hernia surgery and then my dog jumped on me and blew it out, but somehow I guess it healed after 2 weeks. And so I had to take extra time to re-heal the hernia surgery before I could start working out again. And so now I've decided to start. It's time to start. It's been 2 months. So we need to start moving down that road and post that. But I usually talk about stuff, and I'm sure you do, that's action oriented. Hey, this is what I'm working on right now. I realize that my ADHD is out of control. And so here's the things that I'm trying. I'm trying this Pomodoro clock, but it's the new, I don't know. And anyway, people are always going, I'm in my healing mode.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And they're just like, I'm in my healing mode. And you're like, no, you're just saying that. Look, one of the things that are really confronted in the book is a relationship to time. We live lives of linear time. We live lives of the past, the present, and the future. When you relate to your life through that lens and only that lens, everything's lighter. Yeah. Everything's lighter. I'll get there. I'm on track. I'm on an arc. I'm healing. Everything's lighter. And so I wanted people, one of the things that I said in the book, and it was a revelation for me when I actually wrote this. It was like it cracked open my skull, but I really got like the past, the present, the future. It's all happening. Now isn't a time. Now is a place. Now is freaking eternal, but I'm not. And that's the thing I need to get. Now is eternal. But it's now, there's kind of like, you were talking about recovering from a hernia surgery, which I just had a double one.
about a week ago.
What'd you say? You had a double one?
A double hernia, yeah. Operation 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
A week today.
I had the same thing. I don't know if yours was the same, but mine was integral and the belly button.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I'm a little bit further down. But anyway, this is just two old guys talking about their hernias right now.
This is the hernia show. Didn't they tell you? Harper.
Welcome to this week's episode of Hernias United.
We're all going to show our hernias here at the end of the show.
Show you some. But I think the interesting thing was for me was I had the same mentality. My mentality my whole life has been, I'm on a good path. I'm getting there. But it never interrupted the drift enough. It never cut through the morass of my life. Oh. And it wasn't until I realized, like, I have all the say in my experience of what I'm doing right now. All of it. It's not bits of it. It's not most of it. I get to say who I am right now. And that really led me down a path of what if that was what my life was about? What if my life was about expressing who I would say I am? And I'm not always going to feel that way, which is what you're talking about. I'm not always going to feel great about something. I'm not always going to feel empowered or confident or even loving.
Yeah.
But what if I decided I'm not going to base what I'm doing next on how I'm currently feeling or whether it's going to turn out for me, but rather, what about right now? What if I express myself in a new way right now? And it's a long road to kind of get there in this book, but what it leaves people is just like I talked about, where your toes firmly on the doorway of where your life is headed.
Yeah. And now you talk about in the book that constant chasing of self-improvement sometimes keeps your life on hold. Talk to us about what that means.
Yeah. It's kind of convenient, I think, for many people that life stays stuck.
Yeah. Improving right now. What I don't know, but I'm improving, and I bought
something's improving.
I bought some crystals. I must be improving. I'm better now. I have a sound bath.
I would never mess with the crystal people. I'm not going to mess with it.
That's what it was.
I'm messing with the crystal folks. But here's what I will say. A number of years ago, I wrote a book about self-sabotage. One of the interesting things about self-sabotage, it seems kind of pointless. It seems, why would I strive for something and then chop myself off at the knees for it? Like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
And ultimately what it comes down to is because it leaves you back in the familiar and you get to continue to be this thing that you've decided you are.
Yeah.
And so your life takes a very kind of familiar kind of pattern and a familiar track. And you might not like the track, but it's familiar.
Yeah.
And so you complain about the track and you might do some work on yourself in that track, but the track maintains. Why? Because the alternative is uncertainty and instability. And we hate that.
Yeah.
We hate the uncertainty. And it's not the uncertainty of I don't know where I'm going. It's the uncertainty of I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And that's profound.
And so is that the problem? Identity, maybe? Or who I am?
It's a lot of it. It's a lot of it.
How do you nail that down as to what that exactly means?
You read the book, of course, Chris. Right?
I have to read the book. I was going to get all the answers here and save myself the time, but no, you need to buy the book.
You got to read the book. But one of the things that I've always done with my books is, again, it's not about giving you more information. It's about taking you through a conversation. And in that conversation, the real juice of it is what it makes you think about. So I like to say it's like the spaces between the paragraphs. That's where the book gets its power for the reader, because it confronts you with things that you weren't willing to confront. And then it'll double back on that and get you to confront it again, just in case you think you skipped past it. Yeah. And so the whole book is about more like it's a revealing of something profound about each of us, right? And part of it includes this addiction to trying to fix the latest problem, which takes our life in the next screwy direction.
Yeah. And you know, is a lot of times we get caught in our own self-deception, self-delusion, or basically we're just mucking around, right?
Yeah, I think it was Vonnegut that said the meaning of life is just to screw around. I like that, right? I actually think that's a pretty good idea. But I don't think we don't. I think we do the opposite. We live in some sort of freaking existential angst. There's something about myself that doesn't work. Something about myself that needs fixed. There's these things that I need to get better at. I need to improve. I need to be different. And that's when the tail chasing begins.
Ah. Do you find that overwhelms people, where it puts them into a state of shock and immobilization, where you just feel overwhelmed by all the things you need to fix? I have kind of like a list of things I need to manage. One of mine is my ADHD, which is really bad.
Yeah.
And I started testosterone replacement years ago, and boy, it's just every time we increase my testosterone, it just I just lose track of everything. I can walk down a hallway, and I've reached the point where I'm at that thing where I can be doing 15 things from one to another in ADHD, squirreling, and so it's like a constant on my mind. And then a few other things that I'm working on, improving my life, eating better, but I'm doing those things. I'm actively thinking, what do I need to do today? Instead of being overwhelmed, there's probably 5 million things that I need to fix about myself. The audience right now, that's a little double that. But it's, if you try and think of all the problems you need to fix, I mean, it's overwhelming. And so I try to eat the elephant one bite at a time. And I don't know if that's a wise way, but
it can be, right? It can be, but I'm going to offer you a totally different perspective. Okay. What if there's nothing to fix?
What if nothing affects?
What if there's nothing to fix?
Oh, I'm perfect.
What if that's just all that is?
Oh, okay.
And that the more you get into bed with that, you keep that in existence.
Oh, that's an idea.
What if all of that is just doing what that would do, and that mostly we live like the sum of our experiences, how I feel, what I do, how I think. We relate to all of that. That's who I am. That's who I am. All my logic, all the things that what I would do and not do. And I say, people's awareness isn't awareness. It's just awareness of the thing they're trying to fix.
Yeah.
Awareness is when you can get back from that and say, oh, look, there's that thing. Like, So it's like an awareness of oneself, right? The example I like to use is your dog's aware. Your dog's just not aware that he's a dog.
I'm aware I'm a dog, because that's usually what my first tell me, dude, you're a dog.
So what sets you apart is you're aware of your own awareness. That's what sets you apart.
Is that what makes you explain? How do we know that I'm aware of my awareness? And that sounds like a next level above my consciousness.
It's observing. Look. So you're Chris, I'm Gary. What if you spend a day just observing Chris doing what Chris does?
I do that every day. That's pretty annoying.
But observing it like, well, look at that. Look, this is what Chris likes to do. Chris likes to go, and suddenly you're creating distance between you and this thing that you know yourself as. You're creating a little bit of distance, a little bit of mental distance, where you can observe the observer. So you're observing the observer. So I say to people, look, part of what gets us caught in a tailwind is that we're trying to fix something that is not fixable. Because it's committed to being imperfect.
So is this like Emerson? No matter where I go, or no matter where I travel, something to the effect of a quote he made. I'm always still there. Some people travel to escape themselves and their life they've mucked up, or they just want to get away from their own self and life, and they think that by going someplace else that they'll be different or experience something different. And the problem is, if they're miserable, they're just taking their miserable self on vacation, so they're vacationable, right?
No, it takes that kind of insight, though, to realize that.
Yeah.
By the way, a lot of people, I don't know about most, a lot of people live their life with, no, I really just need to move to another town. That's the answer. The problem is you're taking you with you, right? It's like your dog doesn't go to another town. He's, oh, fuck, I'm still a dog. This is shit. Like, how the hell can I change this, right? Because that doesn't have that level of introspection. You do. But what we do when we do stuff like that, we move to the other town, we try to fix that. And I'm saying there's nothing to fix. You're just going to keep doing the same thing. What you have to understand is, for me, and anyway, in my philosophy, I feel as if life is unexplored and unexpressed possibility. So that is, who do you never get to be by being committed to being this way? What ways do you never get to be and act? Do you never get to be vulnerable? Do you never get to be powerful? Do you never get to be confident? Look in your life. What is your commitment to you depriving you of? What do you never get to say? Right? What do you never get to express? And I'm way more interested in that side of the fence than trying to fix this side of the fence that people have been chasing for the last however many decades.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that people need to learn to fix and deal with. But now, is the breadth of the book about this being able to watch the doer or oversee the doer, learning to try and evaluate your own life, as it were, and be really present? Is that maybe the message?
That's good. That's really good. I think it's another one of those myths that I take this big Scottish sledgehammer to, right? People talk about being here or being present like there's fucking somewhere else you could be. Right? So what I talk about in the book is, you're here. You're just not here for what's here.
Yeah.
You're here for something else. You're here trying to fix, change, improve. You're here trying to get over what you did before or what somebody else did to you before. That's what you're using here for. And what I use paint a little picture for people when I say, it's like you've become transfixed on a microcosm. But when in fact, if you looked up, you would see your life as a grand cathedral.
Yeah. And
that your life is absolutely filled with undisclosed possibility. You could be living a different life right now, not tomorrow, not next fucking Thursday, not the last 2 weeks in March of next year, but right now, you could be exploring and expressing a whole other kind of you, and having that be the arc of your life, rather than being transfixed on your own little hole like a meerkat.
So maybe we're too fixated on not thinking about the potential of our lives and the upside and maybe unlimited sort of future. And we're just focused on trying to improve ourselves when really we need to look at the bigger picture. Is that okay?
I think we use the word potential again. We definitely use that word. And I use that word. We use the word potential though, but we throw it into the future. It's always becoming. It's not here. I say to people, look at your life right now. Look at what you think you need to be better at. And I say to people, go express that right now.
Yeah.
Just go there. Go express that right now.
Go do
that. And what you'll see is life takes a slightly different look, right? Different things show up as important than showed up before. Certain things show up as, you talked a little while ago about your ADHD. That's psychology. I don't do psychology. I'm ontology. I would say and it is different, but we would talk about the same things that you do. I wouldn't talk about it like it's something you have. I would talk about it like it's something you do.
Okay. So I should just accept it as a part of me and just go. I kind of do. To me, I don't look to it as a crutch. It's a CEO disease. A lot of CEOs have this, and it's actually probably a benefit. And I don't know where I'd be without it, especially So
I would say to you, you're more likely to do. Here's what you would likely do. You do something, and they would flip over and do something else. And then you might flip over and do something else. Then you might go back to the first thing, but you might not. You might flip over and do something else. That's what you do. Now, so, and again, from my work, I would say, to what degree can you be responsible for how that impacts the quality of your life. Rather than explaining it away, being like, to what degree can I be responsible? What would it look like for me to say, here's this thing, here's what I do, but it's not who I am. This is not me. This is what I do, right? Now, there's a big jump there because there's a certain kind of freedom you get with it when you realize, oh, this is just what I do, right? And here's one thing I bet you've noticed this. Seems like the more you try not to do it, you do it.
Yeah. Now you talk in the book. You talk in the book about this thing called integrity to yourself, basically. Integrity as a lived practice. Give us some tease out on how we can accomplish that.
Oh, I'm giving all the goodies away here. Anyway, so most people think integrity is like morality. So it's like being a good person or doing a good thing or doing the right thing. That's morality, okay? Morality without integrity is what gets you into jail. That'll get you into. You go to prison for no integrity to your morality. Why? Because your morality isn't worth anything, right? So prisons are filled with people who have morality but have no integrity. So when the time came for the morality to be tested, right, fell, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be an integrity to it. That's the same for us as human beings. There has to be an integrity to Chris. There has to be an integrity to Gary and anybody watching this right now. There has to be an integrity to you. That is to say, there has to be a certain way that you live your life where you honor something greater than the sum of your feelings.
Yeah.
So what if I was to live my life not in the direction of my feelings? What if the very next thing that I do is given by how I relate to my own word rather than how I'm feeling in the moment? I think a good example of that, by the way, is going to the gym, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, anybody who's going to the gym and says they're having a good time is a fucking liar, right? I'm just like, stop. Nobody's having a fucking good time there. Stop. They look like they are, but they're not. And so, but there's an integrity to honoring what you promised yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. It's that you gave your word to something. So in the book, I talk about if you're somebody who says, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm not going, I'm going, I'm not going, I'm going, I'm not going. It just seems like it's about the gym, but it's not. What you're nurturing is a relationship to yourself. And in your relationship to yourself, you're treating yourself like what you say doesn't really matter. Now, imagine you had a friend like that who, whatever they say, doesn't really matter. You're not going to be a friend for long. You want to rely on people. It's the same with us as with ourselves. Honoring one's word, this maybe sounds a little woo-woo, but it's true.
Yeah.
Honoring oneself, honoring one's word is honoring one's self. So you honor self by honoring your word. So it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect with your word, but it means you're going to treat it like it's important. It's not frivolous. It's not throwaway. It's not like I didn't mean it because it was yesterday or I'll get this happening today. No, this matters. Why? Because I said it. And even though I might have said it yesterday, the way our brains work, we want to try and squeeze out of some of that stuff if we don't really want to do it. So we'll look for reasons and excuses and explanations as to why we won't. And what I want people to return to is honoring what you said you would do. And the interesting thing about that, by the way, is in the areas of your life that are working, you're already doing that. In the areas of life that are not working, you're not honoring your word to yourself.
That's a big deal. I don't know where I learned that from years ago, decades ago, is the power of your word to yourself. We all think, okay, if I make a promise to somebody, I want to keep that promise because I'll let them down, I'll let me down. But sometimes we don't honor our word to ourselves. Like, I'm going to start going to the gym every day or every other day, whatever your goal is. And then your brain goes, and then you're like, I'm not going to go today. I just don't feel like it. I'm not going to go today. And I think your subconscious mind, that little reticular activating system in the back there goes, oh, he's full of shit. He doesn't really mean this.
100%.
Yeah. So we're just going to help him.
100%.
We're just going to help him achieve the goal of not going to the gym because he doesn't. This is just a bullshit thing he's made up, and we realize he's full of shit. And I learned that with the gym, going every day, that even if I don't feel well, I still go to the gym.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'd go to the gym if I need to. And it's kind of funny is I'll feel like shit and I don't want to go to the gym, but I'll force myself to go to the gym because the power of my word is so important to myself and honoring my commitment to myself. And a lot of people really understand the importance of that. So I'm glad you talk about that. And so what I do is I go, if I don't do something I don't want to do, like I said, or I mentioned earlier, eating the elephant one bite at a time, that's my attack. The obstacle is the way through, Marcus Aurelius sort of thing. And so one of my tricks to going to the gym every day was, before I got my hernias or getting my hernias at the gym, was I would go every day. And if I didn't feel like going, I would still go. And I'd be like, okay, so you're just going to sit in the massage chairs and unwind and relax, and let's just see how that goes. And then you're gonna get on the machine and you're gonna do at least one set of reps. And there's something about as soon as I walk in the gym and I get that smell of that environment, and I'm so used to reputation with myself. After I kind of sit for a while and maybe relax in the massage chairs, I start feeling a little bit better. I'm like, okay, let's do some reps. Okay, let's do a second set of reps. Okay, let's do a third set of reps. And somewhere in there, the whole system kicks into gear. The pattern that I've developed with myself.
Correct.
Gym. And usually after the first set of reps, I'm like, we can do this. I don't feel perfect, but we can do this. And then by the end, I'm into my rhythm. I'm into my routine, and I do the work.
Now, there's something really important, though, I think you're saying there that I think most people don't realize. When you've walked out of there, obviously your body's going to feel that you've worked out, right?
Yeah.
But then there's this feeling of that I did it.
Yeah, I did it. I beat the demon of not avoiding or of avoiding the thing was. So.
But there's a critical component there. What you did is restored yourself to whole and complete.
Yeah.
So you restored yourself. So you had this feeling of restoration. Yeah, I did it. I really did it. And then mine is a little different. I generally just, if I'm having a thought that I'm not doing it, I'll just say to myself, thank you for sharing. We're going to the fucking gym. It's like, thank you for sharing, but we're doing it. And I have that relationship with myself. I really see it as nurturing my relationship to self. I really see it as that. Like I've been married to my wife now for going on 30 years. I've got 3 grown boys. I have a relationship to them. I got to nurture these relationships, but I got to nurture this one. And if I keep treating this one like it's bullshit, then that's the life I'm going to live.
Yeah.
So that honoring self thing is not to be underestimated, but I don't think you can overestimate it.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. Thank you. Didn't catch that for the mute button in time.
Special bonus for the listeners.
There you go. If you heard the sneeze, you get $1 sent to you in the mail. No, I'm just kidding, folks. Don't worry me. What are some other aspects maybe I should have asked you about the book that we should clear before we round up the show?
I would say to people, don't read this book, again, looking for data points. This book is you do this book. You don't read it, right? You do it, right? And there's no exercises in it, but it will provoke you to think. And this is one of my big commitments in life. I believe people are capable, everyone is capable of developing their own wisdom over time. But you can't get there if you're not willing, if you're only going to pursue paths of what you already believe to be true. And so in this book, I'm definitely going to poke at what people think is true, like some of their kind of sacred cows. And some people will find that really unnerving, but at the same time, it's a legitimate ontological inquiry. We're going under the hood.
Yeah. Get under the hood, fix your stuff. I like this. I see so many people that they move from one modality of healing, quote unquote. And really, if you understand it, most of the people that claim to be healing, what they're doing is they've made such a shit show mess. They're announcing to Facebook and their family and their world that, oh, I fucked up and made a mess, but I'm not going to admit to that or be self-accountable. I'm just going to go heal. It's the running over someone with a car And it's just, I'm just going to keep driving. I need to heal right now. When the cops pull me over, they're like, why didn't you stop according to the law and help that person and call 911 and take accountability for what you did? Because the cops are probably going to have a word with you or two, or ticket or jail.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, I'm just going to keep driving because I'm healing right now. I've got some sage burning, so I'm sure that will fix everything with the guy I just ran over.
The weird thing about accountability is, though, even when you avoid it, you're being accountable for avoiding.
I'm being accountable. Yeah, for avoiding, buddy.
But you're going to have to live with it, right? So there's no responsibility, accountability. Like they're not the same thing, but they live in the same place for us. It seems like burden. It seems like blame, and it's not. It's like when you finally get accountability and you finally get responsibility, it's like the keys to the kingdom. It's like everything's in the game now. But it takes something to get yourself there, because you have to keep getting past, oh, if I'm responsible, it means I'm to blame. And that's not responsibility. That's blame, right? Responsibility is, I acknowledge who I am. I acknowledge who I've been. I take accountability for whatever's been the outcome of that. And the key to getting yourself there is starting to realize that no matter what other people think of you, you're okay. You'll be fine. Relax, right? There's nothing to get yourself wrapped up in. If other people think you're an asshole, that's okay, right? You're not going to die. Just they think you're an asshole, okay? And the more you get used to it, the more you realize, the more responsible you can be, and that you've got nothing to hide, because hiding is inauthentic, and inauthentic is a crap life.
Yeah. As we go out, give people, now let's do some offerings you might have on your website. Is there any offerings you want to?
There are a couple of things. I'm doing a new retreat next month up in Washington State. So there's a couple of spots still open for that. If people want to jump in there and book. And if you book and say that you did it after watching me on Chris Voss, you'll get a $250 deduction, discount on the price of the retreat. And then all the books are on there, of course, in the retreat. And then you'll also get, in the website. And then you'll also get lots of information about upcoming new live events that we're planning for 2027. But yeah, and again, invite people to follow me on social media, not to follow me, but because I put stuff out there all the time for free, videos and quotes and pieces from the books, and you don't necessarily even have to buy the book, although I recommend that you do.
You want to buy all of his books, actually, so you can completely unfuck yourself.
If I could stand in the street and hand them out, I would. But like you said, most people would think they had gotten the knowledge by osmosis rather than reading the book.
Hey, I met the author too. That means I definitely know. I shook his hand, and all of his knowledge transferred through that handshake in my brain. I don't need to read the book. Yeah. People are that way. I'm that way. I'm afraid to look at this point. I probably have hundreds of books I bought through Audible. This is where you.
Yeah.
And I probably read 50, maybe 30. I don't know. Yeah. And
I must admit, I do buy in books so that I can just look at the binding on the outside. It looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be good. And I read the cover and the back, so clearly I probably have consumed at least 50% of what they said. And you're just like, nah, that's not the way it works. But no, one of the things I did is I'm buying books now again. I had somebody come on the show and they go, I was doing that bullshit where you go, I'm going to read 100 books a year or 200 books a year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of good to think about, but the problem is you're focused on the number as opposed to actually the content and what you're learning. And someone on the show, they wrote a book about this concept, and they called me out, but it was a way to show that it was true. And they said to me, they go, Chris, name one of the last 3 books you read. And I was like, drawing a blank. And I'm like, I know I blasted through a bunch of them, but I was speed running through Audible. You know how you can go up to 2% or whatever. I was speed running those things. And every time I read a book, I'd be like, 1 off the mark. But what did I learn? Probably nothing. There's probably some aspects in there, but he explained to me that when you want to read something, so now I buy physical books and I sit down with a marker or whatever you call it, highlighter, and I slowly go through those books and I ponder them. I do that with Marcus Aurelius and Stoic materials in the morning. I go out to sit in the sun with my coffee and I just pick something random. And I read that chapter. Maybe I just read a few pages, but then I highlight them and I think about them. I spend some time pondering them, and that is a way better way to internalize that stuff than just buying the book and looking on your Audible shelf.
I sometimes give people another thing. I'll say, every time you start a book, start with an intention. So that is to say, an intention could be that I'm going to take one thing from this book and I'm going to go do something with it in my life. Right? So I'm going to take one thing from this book and I'm going to do something in my life. That has the book have a very different appeal. Now I'm looking for something. And I'm scouring through the book for the thing that I might be able to utilize and use. And no matter how flimsy the thing is that I find, you got to use it.
Yeah, you got to use it.
Intention.
Give us your .coms one last time as we go out.
GaryJohnBishop.com everywhere. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, the website, YouTube, it's all out there. There's videos, there's quotes, there's little pieces from the books, and there's interviews. So yeah, you'll find me there.
Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it, Gary.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Thanks for coming. Order up his book, folks, wherever fine books are sold. You, your life, and the truth you've been avoiding. Now what? Unfuck yourself, please. Thanks to my for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.